Hi, everybody. Joe Turk here again with Idaho Firearms Classes. Thanks again for joining us on this cut of the video. Today we're going to be talking about defensive rounds and less lethal rounds. We have today with us Brett Lansing with Maximum Tactical Defense, the manufacturer and designer of most of these rounds. Most of the ones we're going to be talking about today are not traditional off-the-shelf rounds, but they are very effective, very great. As soon as he introduced these rounds to me, I decided to kind of jump on board and do this a little bit more and give you guys a lot more information about this company. I think they got great products. They're very effective. They've been around for a while. And, we're also going to do some test shooting today and see what these effects are on interior walls in a home if you use them for self-defense, in case you miss that person that's coming at you and where those rounds are going to go, how your house is going to react to that. So we'll do some of that video a little later in this edition. But first, I want him to kind of talk to you guys about what they have and what the purpose of some of these rounds are. So, Brad, would you mind telling us a little bit about some of the most popular ones, and then we can kind of get into some of the things that you have. I know you have a lot of options. We don't have all day to talk about them, but at the same time, let's get some information out to these good guys and see what they have. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. Absolutely, Joe. Thanks for having me. Brett Lansing, Maximum Tactical Defense. This is all factory new ammunition. We have a facility back east in Tennessee with a distributorship in Boise, Idaho. All on the 12, 20, and 410 gauge platforms. I want to talk to you real briefly about our most popular home defense rounds in the lethal category. These are flechette rounds. Flechettes are 1-inch hardened steel darts. They're popular in the Vietnam era as an anti-sniper defense. These are aerodynamic, move very quickly, and there's 30 of these per round. Very popular for a home defense round. These are M855 steel core rounds. Now they're just the steel cores, the hardened triangular shaped steel cores, and there's about 40 of these per round. And the effect that these have on a living target, because they're triangular in shape, is that they'll tumble and create just devastating damage. And our other most popular home defense round is called the Rhodesian Jungle Round. This is a combination round that carries 9 double-aught buck pellets. That's a standard military load, together with about 400 number 8 bird shots. And the idea behind this round is that bird shot will fill in the pattern behind your double-aught buck, and so nothing is left to error in a home defense situation. Those are our 3 most popular home defense rounds. We certainly have other ones, but Joe, that's the long and short of it.
Great. I can tell you, with the way some of these are set up, and I, shot them before we came out here, and I think they would have great stopping power. The most common home defense rounds are going to be your double-aught buck, your number 4 buck. 12-gauge rounds are going to be the most popular ones people use. Slugs are not really being used because they're just over-penetrating. But some of these options here, we're going to see a little bit later when we shoot at an interior wall, kind of what damage that has going in and coming out on the other side. So kind of give us a good idea what to think about and, make us more aware that we have to hit our targets. So there's, other people in other bedrooms. There's people on the outside of home, maybe walking a dog. They didn't ask to be in that situation. So we kind of get a good idea on what this will do to an interior wall or even an exterior wall on your home. So I'm excited to getting forward to those. And again, and like you said, you guys do have a lot of other rounds that are definitely capable of some defensive use. And, we'll go some of those as well. And then we're going to go get into some of the less lethal rounds as well. So again, thanks for the information on that.
Sure, welcome.
All right, so some of the other things, we want to talk to you about, and Brett's going to introduce you to a little bit more, is less lethal options. Now, it's very important to understand, that people understand that less lethal means just that. It's less lethal. It can still cause lethal damage, but it's much less likely to do so. So just because you're losing a less lethal round, it doesn't mean that you're not going to cause death or serious injury, but it is less likely that is going to happen. So that's why they are called less lethal rounds. So fill us in on a couple of or a few of the ones that are most popular for less lethal indoor use or even outdoor use that you can use. Again, for those people, they're just not capable to pull the trigger or don't want to, cause death, of course, it's going to be a great option for those people. None of these will penetrate any walls or anything like that interior of your home, inside your trailer, inside your house, your garage, anything like that. So they're very popular for those reasons. And on the other hand, some people just don't want to pull the trigger to cause death. So, and that's perfectly fine. But still have to have defensive options in your home. So why don't you introduce us to some of the most popular ones of the less lethal rounds?
You bet, Joe. Let's take this old school to new school. In the old school category, we have a rock salt round. Tried and true by many a rancher. These rock salt rounds are simply that, but they are also tossed in an Israeli pepper powder. So whereas those of you that have been hit by a rock salt round know that can sting, this is more like fire. So if you need to send that message old school, that's a rock salt round. This is a pepper blast round. This is simply filled with Israeli pepper powder. It casts a cone of about 8 feet wide and envelops your target in that pepper powder, and is analogous to OC spray or something else, but it's in a dry powder form, dischargeable on a shotgun platform. Moving up the chain, we've got a beanbag round. This is simply an ounce of birdshot in a Kevlar sock. The sock prevents its penetration into your target, but this is devastating, extremely painful, and will almost certainly disable your target every time. And then in the new division, we've got a rubber bullet round. This round has 3 38 grain round rubber projectiles that fire out per round. It's developed for use in a penitentiary setting, so it's also developed for a very close quarter, short minimum distance type of situation. And with 3 projectiles coming out per trigger pull, your chances of hitting your target are likely. And those are probably our most popular rounds in the less lethal category, Joe. But
okay. Very good. I know from experience, with law enforcement and private security training, that these beanbag rounds definitely do the job. I mean, they travel at a pretty good clip, and when they impact, they definitely know that they got tagged with something. And again, it doesn't disable them totally, but it definitely slows them down. A lot of cases, puts them on the ground, just even if it's time to just make you escape and get out of there. You've done what you're supposed to do, and the round has definitely done what it's supposed to do. Again, with your rubber bullets here, the 3 projectiles, we use these for crowd control, we use these for prison control, and again for crown or riot controls. And these are very effective on soft tissue as well. I've seen these, and they definitely do the job as well. So I can't wait to see later in our demonstration how some of the people are going to react to these. So I'm looking forward to that.
right too.
Thank you, Brett.
Joe.
All right, so one of the other lines that you guys carry is going to be for trail defense or out hunting, hiking. I know I do a lot of that myself. My family does. I got my friends, go to Alaska and do a lot of hunting as well. So I was glad to see when you guys had a line for self-protection against wild animals like bears or cougars or wolves or anything like that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you have for trail defense and what's more popular with that?
You bet, Joe. For trail defense, we recommend double-aught buck rounds, as well as a couple of others. The standard military buckshot load is 9 double-aught buck pellets. This super buck load is 15. There's enough powder behind it to still generate 1,100 feet per second, which translates into 2,200 pounds of energy, which is a lot of stopping power and quite a big payload. But if that's still not enough, we do make the round in a Magnum. Again, military being a 9 pellet round, this is 18. And at 1,100 feet per second, that's 2,400 pounds of energy into your target. That really ought to be enough. The other thing we offer that guys like to throw in their bag with their trail shotgun are these ball and chain rounds. Now we make this in a standard, and what you're looking at is actually the Magnum round of this. This is 3 musket balls per round, and those 280 grain 58 caliber musket balls are connected by a 7-strand steel cable. And so the effect of this, when it comes out of the gun, is that those things remain connected. And while a lot of people think that they might twirl or tumble in the air, and they will eventually, initially they just snap out straight and hold their pattern. So as far as a living target is concerned, that's a 1-foot cutting path because the cable creates its own wound channel. It's a devastating round. Could certainly take the leg or head off most animals, and probably one of our most devastating rounds.
So definitely work for some coyotes or cougars, mountain lions, anything like that in nature. And it sounds like your Magnum and some of your other buckshots would definitely work on bears and other big animals. So I would probably feel better having those in my gun on the trail too. So great. I'm looking forward to see what those are going to do to dry well. I imagine a lot. so it'll be fun to watch anyway. So thank you.
Looking forward.